to Spirit Connections with Ed and Lauri. My name is Lauri Albert.
And I'm Ed Torres. Welcome back.
Thanks for being with us. Our show is a unique take on the world of mediumship and spirituality, actually.
Yes, of course.
So I mean, because we talk about pretty much anything that has to do with spirituality or mediumship, and so yeah, we're excited that you're with us today. We hope you're enjoying what we're doing so far. So thanks for being here, Ed. What are we going to talk about today?
Today we kind of wanted to go into what we do to prepare. We prepare in different ways. She does one thing and I do another.
To do readings.
Yes. To go. Not for dinner.
Yeah, no. Exactly. We're prepared to do dinner.
It's preparing for getting into the mediumship mode. It's very different than preparing for going out to dinner or going to work. It's just different. And that's what we kind of wanted to banter around today.
Yeah. And you know what's interesting is that every medium that I know sort of does the same thing, but we all do it in a different kind of way. Does that make sense? I mean,
absolutely.
I mean, we all have our little rituals kind of thing that we have to do, so
yes,
it's kind of funny.
So for instance, one of the things I do is I've got to get physically prepared. And so which means I really have to stay away from food because my body is going to be using up a lot of the energy connecting with the spirit connection. I juice up on coffee or some kind of caffeine just to keep that physical part going. A little bit, yeah, about 2-3 hours before I start getting up with the caffeine because I've got to get the body starting to amp up a little bit, getting the vibration in the body going up. Yeah. But after that, it's strictly water, only water. This may sound a little awkward, but I stretch. I physically just stretch and start relaxing the muscles because I don't want to be tense. I don't want my back to be sore or legs to be sore before we go into a reading because a lot of times I'll feel things. I'll feel things in my back, my side, my shoulders, my neck.
Your heart, your head.
Oh yeah,
you get
everywhere.
a headache. They do all sorts of stuff to us, you know.
And I don't want it to be me. So once I know it's not me, boom, it feels good, it feels right. I'll give what I'm getting. So that's part of the physical. And then of course, about half an hour to an hour before we're going into a reading, the vibration, the connection is already beginning. And so the body is starting to amp up, starting to get very agitated. And so I start to flow the energy up and down through my body. Basically what you're trying to do is stay in balance. That's all, just stay in balance. But my God, it's sort of like being really nervous before a big football game or a big sporting event or something. That something's going to happen, an exam, you name it, whatever you can relate to. You get nervous, you get tense, you just start amping up.
Well, and spirit does that too. Spirit sort of gets, I guess you could say, sort of nervous too, in that they start coming through because they know what's going to start to happen.
Oh, absolutely.
So sometimes, like before our development circle, a lot of times with like, you know, maybe an hour before the development circle starts, all of us will start feeling different types of energies going through our body and stuff, and headache, or I'll get like real giddy. I'll just start being like really up or happy, or I'll get real depressed. Like there was one night I did not want to go. I did not want to be there, and I was like, my husband was like, "No, you should just go." I said, "Oh, I'm in a really bad mood," you know, like me in a bad mood, right? I should have known, right? But as soon as I went over there to Ed's house, I was like, "Oh, I'm in a really bad mood." He goes, "Well, that's probably spirit." And I went, "Oh, I didn't even." So it's just funny how spirit does that, right?
Yes, it's sort of like putting a mask on and then taking it off and realizing it's just a mask. Yeah. All they're doing is they're preparing us also. They're getting ready. They're starting to tune into our body, our body centers, our energy portals, so to speak. And we're feeling it. We're definitely feeling it. Every medium out there will begin to feel it before a client walks in. Some of the mediums will start writing, start taking notes and doing memorizing things or writing things down. So when the client comes in, okay, I've got a parent, I've got this name, I've got these details. And because when the connections come, they come fast. They come fast, they come strong, and then they kind of taper off. And it's hard to remember a lot of things, especially after a reading. I'll tell you, I'll give someone a reading. 1 hour later, it's like, how did it go? It went good. What happened? I don't remember.
Exactly.
You're in the zone.
Yeah.
You're in the zone.
Yeah.
You just...
Well,
It's
again,
gone.
we are the medium. We're the
Right.
middle person. So it goes through us, and you know what? That's the way it works, you know? What were you going to say?
I remember another thing. Why do they come to Lauri? Why would somebody else's loved one come to you or to me? Well, they really don't come to us. They come to you through us.
Through us.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So if somebody comes to us and asks us, well, why would they come to you? Why wouldn't they just come to us directly? Well, part of the reason is they always do, but you guys aren't receptive to it. You don't understand that they're right in front of you, talking to you. You should be able to feel them. You probably do, but you're turned off to it. Oh,
Yeah.
That's just the air or
Right,
whatever.
exactly. And we're like in tune to that. We're
Yes.
like prepared for, I mean, at like 24 hours a day, we never know, like if something happens, we kind of know what to think. Like, oh, is that, and then Spirit will tell us yes or no or whatever, so.
So it's sort of like when you go to the cemetery and you want to go spend some time with a loved one. It's a focus point. They're not there. They're at home with you, or they're in the store with you, or they're at the soccer or football game with you, or they're with the kids that day. It's just a focus point. And so when you tune yourself into a location and a focus point, then you're allowing that to come to you and you're open to it.
Yeah.
You go to church, you're open to
Right.
receiving the feeling of Spirit of God, that connection. You just feel it. You know it's there.
Yeah.
So it's sort of the same thing.
Yeah. See, now,
separate.
do you meditate before?
No.
You don't meditate.
No.
Now, see, I know some people that meditate for a really long time before. I'm one of them, actually. I like to meditate for like 45 minutes sometimes before a reading. I mean, it depends. It depends on what's going on. It depends on the person I'm reading or whatever. But I like to meditate before. But you don't know.
No, I can't
You just
stay
sort of
still.
open yourself up, huh?
I can't stay still. The energy is too high. If
Yeah.
I sat there and tried to go into a meditative state, all I would be doing is driving myself crazy. I got to get up, keep moving, drinking water, moving chairs around, just getting into the flow of things, just feeling like I'm flowing, directing things.
Yeah.
Once we get, and I'm too antsy, way too antsy. But once we get into a reading, I'm sitting across from somebody, I'm connecting with their loved ones, bringing through that connection, completely different now.
Yeah.
Calm, I'm back in. This is who I'm getting. This is what I'm getting. Bringing it through. If it doesn't make sense, I go back. It's interactive. Let's see. Maybe I read it wrong. Maybe I said it wrong. Back into the zone.
Yeah, yeah.
And when it's over, it's done.
Yeah, exactly. And then,
Right.
then you can feel the energy sort of dissipate, and you just know you're
Yeah.
just done. So.
So sort of like these bright lights that are on us right now, you just turn them down. Turn them down,
Yeah.
that energy just kind of drops. And you can feel the subtle differences. Energy is very, very subtle, especially with the other side. Now, sometimes you feel energy come zooming through you like a tractor or a train.
I've had a couple recently, as a matter of fact, a couple of circumstances where the energy just kind of comes into me, and the way I described that, Ed, was like it was like a lightning bolt. It was like a lightning bolt. It went, and you just kind of go, whoa, okay, kind of thing. But every spirit's different, and that's just what they are on the other side. But I wanted to tell you guys the difference between how he prepares and how I prepare.
Right.
Now, for me, I try not to eat beforehand as well. And I never thought about the caffeine, but I don't really drink. I mean, maybe I have a cup of coffee before, whenever I get up in the morning anyway, so it's whatever. But my biggest thing is to I gotta be in a zone. Like, I love my family, love them to death, my husband and my daughter, but I can't have too much conversation and too much, real life conversations, like I can't be hearing about what they need from the grocery store. I just can't hear that. I got to get in my own zone, right? And then, like I said, I meditate I like to, depending on how much time I have, I like to meditate for 45 minutes or a half an hour at least on there. And and I talk to my spirit guides, and then I take notes. I have a notepad, and I take notes, because spirit starts coming to me. And what's interesting, and what I tell my sitters to do, my clients or whatever you want to call them, to do is for about 15 minutes before the reading, sit quietly or meditate for a little while, for 15 minutes or so before the. And so what's interesting is because right at that moment, as they're meditating and getting themselves quiet and they're getting themselves ready, I'm starting to take notes for their spirits, their loved ones that want to come through. So it all kind of gets us into like a general area. And what's interesting about that is that when they come into my house, then they sit down and we're ready to go. We're just like, we're ready to go. And I used to do, and it depends on what Spirit wants me to do, you know, because I always try to listen to what Spirit wants me to do in the readings and stuff, but sometimes I'll just lead a quick meditation. It depends on who it is and stuff. But I used to do that more often, but I don't anymore because they don't want a meditation. They're there to hear messages from their loved ones. So
you gotta get ready before, and then you march into it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So now, how long are your readings? Do they usually last?
I was going to say, we've got kids. We've got little kids, and so I also tell the kids, dears, loved ones, love you guys to death, but about a half hour before, I really just need to get into the zone, and I just cannot be dealing with homeworks and dinners and, and the little family kid bickerings, things like that. Right. Love them to death, but same thing. You know, once you start focusing and getting into the zone, you have to just kind of disassociate from the physical and start getting ready to go into the mental and get into that spirit connection. Mediums out there, psychics out there, you guys get it. You absolutely get it. Some people prepare longer, others don't take hardly any time at all. Zip, open up your portals, connect immediately.
And you know, Spirit knows what you need to be doing. And so if you sort of, and this goes along with trusting while we're doing while we're getting ready to do our readings. It goes along with trusting that Spirit is going to give us the messages that we need, and however long the reading is supposed to be, and whatever we're supposed to say, that's part of the trusting, and that's partly what I do in my meditation prior to, is that I give the entire reading up to Spirit, and I say, you know, whatever is supposed to happen, please let it happen. So that's our little story for
you guys out there, you budding mediums and you practicing mediums. Another thing I just wanted to throw in real quick, especially for those newbies who haven't really been experienced to this, a lot of the phrases are now getting into the power, getting into the zone, getting into the power of connection. And then you have to maintain that connection, bring through physical descriptions, the characters, the emotions. If you can give a name, birth dates, things that are important. Let's see, you just had an anniversary. This, you know, things like that.
Yeah, the verifications, because you need to be. Well, I shouldn't say you, but the people that you're reading, really need to be sure of who is really there. So if you just relax and allow Spirit to come give, and you know what I've been doing lately too, is asking Spirit to just really quickly. Just, can you give me more specifics? I want more specifics. Give me more specifics, you know. And then that's when the dress with the strawberries comes on or through, or something crazy like that, you know. I mean, there's something, because how many people have dresses with strawberries? So that would be something kind of specific. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, again, thank you very much. Enjoyed it.
Thanks.
As usual, looking forward to hearing from you guys.
Sorry. And and write us. We would love to hear. We love the feedback we've had so far. Thanks for getting with us and asking us the questions. Tell us what you want us to hear. Talked about, I guess I should say. And Facebook, Spirit Connections with Ed and Lauri. And so that's great. Thanks so much for joining us today, and we will talk to you soon.
Alrighty, goodbye.